Hey everybody, J.R. Fisher here. I want to make sure you can hear me. So if you can, I'd like for you, I've got another computer set up here. Let me check this out. Make sure you can hear me. If you can hear me, do me a favor, just kind of type in there, yeah, I can hear you. That would be real helpful. And I'm kind of doing this on the fly today. Jessica is on here. Jessica, if you would just type on there and let me know if you can hear me or not. Making sure I'm trying to kind of monitor this on a computer over here and on my phone, which is not easy to do. She says she can hear me. Good. Okay, so what are we going to talk about? This is something that I didn't even think about doing until this afternoon. So this is kind of on the fly, and that's why this is not exact science, and that's why I'm using a selfie stick, and I was not prepared. I tried to set up the computer over here, but it just didn't work. So here's the deal. We started our business in 2009 and started selling products online. And in 2009, we used certain tools, we did certain things, and we grew it into a multi-million-dollar business, which is great. But here's the deal. Things have changed. So I'm driving down the street today and I'm thinking, well, what is it? Hey, Don, how you doing, man? Good to see you here. I'm thinking to myself, what is it that people would want to know? And I'm thinking they'd probably want to know what works right now, not when you started your business in 2009. And I never really thought of it that way. I was always thinking about, this is how we do this is how we do this, but I didn't tell people exactly what we did. In other words, when we send an email, how do we send an email? I mean, what do we use for email? Or, what do we use for sales pages? Or, what is all this stuff we're using? And so I wanted to do this short video. We'll probably take about 20-30 minutes and go over what's working for you for 2019. Now, this is super important because you can do a lot of stuff online, but if you don't have the right tools and you're not using the right processes, you're not going to get good results, okay? And I know that because I've tried stuff that didn't work, and I said, well, that doesn't work. Let me try the next one and the next one and the next one. So the point of this video is to keep you from having to try the next one, the next one, the next one. I can just give you what we're doing, and then if I give you what we're doing, you can just jump to the successful things, okay? So let's start off with the very first thing on my list right here, and I'm trying to hold this so you can see it, is a website, okay? First off, that's one thing that scares people. They think, well, I don't know how to build a website, and what's it going to cost me to build a website, and how big should it be? Here's some news. You don't even need a website. I'm going to cross through this. Now you can have one. I'm not saying you don't, necessarily never want to have one, but you know what? You don't need one. You don't need a website to sell online nowadays. There's a lot of people that sell a lot of stuff. They don't have a website. And I'm going to explain to you how you can get around that in just a second. Now, whether you have a website or not, the big thing in 2009 and 10 was that you had to SEO. The whole thing was you wanted to come up organically on the first page of Google. That was your goal, and you did this thing right here, which is called SEO, okay? SEO was nothing more than search engine optimization. In other words, your website, when somebody would search in the search box, it would come up and they would see it, and when they would see it, they could click on your stuff and they could buy stuff from you. So that was what you had to do back then. Now, I will tell you nowadays, you don't even have to do SEO. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. In fact, you should do it. If you have products, if you have a page, you should try to do this to get some organic traffic. But you see, some people don't even care about organic traffic. They're using social media, or they're driving traffic to their page by running ads or something like that. And, technically, you don't need this. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but a lot of times if you're running a 3-day sale, you don't want that page to be SEO'd to where everybody could find it anyhow. You don't want that happening. So technically, if you don't want to, you don't have to do SEO. Inventory. Now, this was a big thing because when I first started selling, let me get over here where you can see this. Yeah. When I first started selling online, I had to invest a ton of money into inventory. I had to buy products, and then I had to test it out to see if people were going to buy the products, and then I would buy more of the products. Now, here's the truth. A lot of times those products didn't sell, and I was, running, traffic to it, or I was, SEO in the page and hope people would land on it, or putting it on eBay or Amazon or whatever, and it didn't work. So what would happen was I would end up with a lot of inventories. I started off with cell phone cases, and believe me, there's no money in cell phone cases, or there wasn't for me, okay? I was making like 20, 30 cents, maybe 50 cents on a cell phone case because it was so competitive. Everybody was doing it. And then the bad thing was I would end up with a bunch of extra inventory because people kept switching their cell phones one after another and one after another. And when they were doing that, my inventory would become obsolete. So I had all this inventory left over. Now here's the cool thing. This is super cool. You don't need inventory anymore. What? No. You can use a thing called, let me see my marker's working, AliExpress. Now, what AliExpress is AliExpress, let me go over here so you can see it, AliExpress.com, you can go there. You can integrate your, let's say if you have a Shopify store or your sales page or whatever, you can integrate it with AliExpress, and this is people who have inventory, and this particular inventory they want to sell. So what they'll do is they'll actually drop ship this inventory to your customer for you. Hey, Vince, there he is. He said he would show up. He's a little bit late there. That's okay. You're late, it's all right. You haven't missed a whole lot. So far, you don't need a website. You don't need SEO. Okay? All right, cool. So here's the thing. With AliExpress, you don't pay for the inventory until somebody buys your product. What? That's right. You don't have to actually buy the inventory until somebody buys your product. So you don't really need inventory, which is pretty cool because now you don't have to invest in it. So we can draw this through right here, okay? Now the next thing you're gonna need for 2019 to be successful, so far you don't need anything, do you? You're already successful, you don't need anything. Very cool. Yes, it is very easy, Vince. Vinny, he wants to be called Vinny, so I will call you Vinny. You are now, from now on, Vinny. You know what I did is I actually practiced that Vincenzo thing, and now it's my cousin Vinny. I got it. Hey Lorenzo, nice to see you jump in here, buddy. So the next thing you had to get was a credit card provider. Now I'm telling you, in 2009 or 10, to get somebody to process these credit cards for you, it was tough. You had to go through all kinds of credit checks, and you had to have like stellar credit, and it was tough. I mean, it really was. And then when they found out that you were going to sell stuff online, a lot of them didn't even want to give you an account. And guess what? Now they have a thing called Stripe, okay? And you can look that up. It's stripe.com. I'm not affiliated with these things I'm telling you about, guys. Not affiliated, so just go look them up. But you can use Stripe right now, and they'll process credit cards for you, okay, and give you the money, and they don't charge you that much. Or you could also use PayPal if you want to use PayPal. I had a bad experience with PayPal, so I don't ever want to run credit cards through there again. Hey, Iman, how are you doing? Good to see you. He says more like this in the future. Believe me, there's going to be more like this in the future because these are the things you need. So technically, you don't have to run out and look for these banks to run credit cards for you, okay? So far, check this out, guys. You don't need a website. You don't need SEO. You don't need inventory. You don't need a credit card provider. Now we're going to get into what you do need, okay? Because that's important, right? You got to have a phone. Too many people try to run a business without a phone, and it's. I use a company called OneBox to answer my calls when there's nobody at the office. Now we have an office with people answering the phones and all that good stuff. They call me, but you need a phone number. Don't try to run your business without a phone number because that's one of the things that Google looks for. If you don't have a phone number for your company, the chances of you popping up in the search results, you know what? You're not going to do well because they don't trust your company if you don't have a phone. So you could do something like OneBox, and it's OneBox. I'm trying to write over my shoulder as I hold a phone. That's tough to do. Anyhow, so I'm being multi-talented today. Okay, so you do need a phone. Okay, so we got to make sure you got a phone. The next thing you're going to need is a sales page. Okay, now the next few things I'm going to tell you about, I used to have to do all of these individually and pay a company for these. I no longer have to do that, okay? Never again. And I'm going to tell you how you can combine all these things and save yourself a boatload of money, a boatload, okay? So the first thing is a sales page. Now, what is a sales page? Well, a sales page generally is something that people come to and they see a product, not all your products, not all your categories, not everything you sell, but a product that you're trying to sell. So sales page. Now, that particular page, you need to be able to build it fast and on the fly and put cool images and pictures in there, and you need to be able to do it yourself. And I'm gonna show you how you can do that in just a second, okay? The next thing you're gonna need is an email provider. Now, I started off with something called Constant Contact. And, I want to say it's awful, but it wasn't awful. For the time and when I was actually using it, it was okay? But you don't need Constant Contact anymore, and you don't need Aweber, and you don't need Infusionsoft. And if I'm saying things that you don't even know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. You don't need it anyhow. It doesn't matter, okay? But you need to be able to way to email your list, because you're going to build a list and you're going to email these people, okay? Super, super important that you start doing that early on. Now, I have people tell me all the time, they go, well, JR, I don't even have a list. I don't have anybody. Guess what? Nobody starts with a list. Nobody does. I started with 0, okay? You will start exactly where I did, 0, okay? And if you already have some people on a list, great. Hey, you got your friends and family, you can always email them, right? You can do that. So you need an email provider. Now, the next thing you don't think you're gonna need, but you will need on down the road, is a site that you can put memberships on. And when I say memberships, what I mean is these are people who are paying you for a product or a service or a course, and they're paying you every single month. This is called continuity. Vinny's saying MailChimp, I wouldn't do it. I'm going to show you one in just a second, Vinny, that you don't need that. So I appreciate you putting that in there. MailChimp is a good service, but the thing I'm going to tell you about in just a second is going to save you money on all these. And I'm not selling this product. Matter of fact, I have an affiliate link for it, but I'm not even going to give it to you, okay? If you want a link for something, my book is in the comments there. And do me a favor, somebody, if you would, because I can't type and hold all this, if you would type in there, if you want to grab my book, it tells you how to find a product super quick to sell. It's called jrfisherbook.com, jrfisherbook.com. So if somebody would just type that in the comments section there, if everybody would type it in there, I'd appreciate it. That way people can just click on it and go to it. That's my book, and it's like $5.60, so it's not a lot of money. So anyhow, a membership site is very, very cool to have. And you're going to want to get that early on, because you'll be surprised how quickly you're going to want to have something like that. Okay, and the next thing is that you're going to want to have is video hosting. Okay, now video hosting, you could get some free stuff. Thanks, Vinny, for doing that. That jrfisherbook.com is in the comments right now. And thank you, Ray, for sticking it in there. I really appreciate it. Video hosting is really, see, when you've got a video, you've just got like a file, like an MP4 file or whatever, which is like a doc file would be one of your Word docs. But you got to put it somewhere so that when you put it on your site or wherever you put it, people can actually see it play. So, you would use YouTube if you want to use something free. Though you can't really get a lot of statistics off YouTube. You could use something like Vimeo and Wistia, and there's a whole bunch of different names and stuff. And if you don't know these names, don't worry, because you don't need them. I'm going to show you how to do this and not have to pay for video hosting too. So the next thing you need is this video hosting though. And preferably, if you could get video hosting that showed you when people were watching and provide you statistics, like if you have a video and you've got an offer in the video and they leave before the offer, okay, or they're leaving at a certain point in the video, you can make a change in that video to see what's going on. So it'd be really cool if you had something like that, which I'm going to show you in just a second. Next thing you need is a sales funnel. What is a sales funnel? Well, a sales funnel is somebody comes to your product page and they say, hey, yeah, I want to buy this widget from you. And I like the widget. It's a very cool widget. And as soon as they buy the widget, it takes them to another page that offers them another widget, maybe a more expensive widget, okay? Something that costs a little tiny bit more, or maybe 3 or 4 times more. I have a couple funnels, and they start out at $5 or $6, and they go up into the thousands of dollars. But you need something that you can actually build the sales funnel on, okay? The next thing you're going to need is up and down sales, and those are little things afterwards, where you can, if they buy it, then fine. If they don't, it offers them a cheaper item. So you need something like that also, okay? And the next thing you're going to need is some video equipment. And guess what video equipment you need? Right here, a phone. That's it. You just need a phone. If you got a phone, you're good. Don't worry about it. Don't buy anything. So this is on the cheap today. I'm going to show you guys how to do all this stuff on the cheap, save you money. Cool thing. And then the last thing you're going to need is some type of editing software. Now, a lot of times you could just use what's on your computer. You don't have to buy anything. You don't need to buy fancy video editing software. I mean, think about it right now. I'm doing a live video with you right now, okay? I'm not editing this. You're watching it. I'm not editing anything, okay? So you don't necessarily need that. So let's look around here. And the next thing you're going to need, this is the big one. See that up there? What does that say? Whoa. That says consistency. You've got to do this stuff, guys, day after day after day after day. If you don't do it every day, you're not going to move forward. It's so important, I'm telling you, to do this stuff every day. Don't find days to take off and not do anything. And you know, if you're thinking about getting into an online business so that you can not work, it's the wrong business for you, okay? Because it's a lot of work. I know, I work a lot of hours. I put in a lot of hours. I didn't get into it so I could work on Mondays from 9 to 3 and take off the rest of the week. That's not why I did it. I did it for freedom. I did it so that I could work when I wanted to work, where I wanted to work, and make what I want, okay? So it gave me the opportunity to make more money. On my job, I couldn't do that. I could make more money on my job because once we did our job or whatever it was, our hours were 9 to 5 and we sold whatever we sold, they weren't 9 to 5, by the way, then that was it. I couldn't make any more money. I had to wait till the next day to make some more money. With online sales, you can make it 24 hours a day. Now, the next thing I hear, and I'm going to move my head so you can see it, is this thing right here. I don't have enough time, JR. You don't understand what my day's like. You have no idea. I know exactly what your day's like. Here's why I know exactly what your day's like. Because it's just like mine. You have 24 hours. That's it. You got 24 hours. And if you examine this, you're going to sleep for about 6 hours. Okay? And some of you are saying, no, you don't understand. I sleep 9, 10 hours. And I just watched a video on this. I thought Arnold Schwarzenegger said it best. He said, sleep faster. Just put in 6 hours. Get up. It's okay if you're a little bit tired and you get some stuff accomplished. Okay? And then let's say you're going to work 8 or 9 or 10 hours and you got to travel. So maybe 12 hours of your day right here is taken up with work. Fine. You've done a little bit of work. That's great. You've driven back and forth. It still leaves you 6 hours here. So what are you going to do with that 6 hours? Now, I hear people complaining. They say, well, I've got kids and I got to do the laundry and I got this and I got that. Believe me, you can squeeze out an hour a day. I raised 2 kids. I was a single dad. I was working 6 to 7 days a week. And I'm not trying to tell you this, how hard I had it. I'm just telling you, I wanted it bad enough. I wanted to get away from my boss bad enough. And if you want to get away from your boss bad enough, you'll figure out another hour here. So I call this investment time right here. This 6 hours, this is your investment time. And you invest in several things. And number one thing you're going to invest in, or I'd say 1 and 2, are eating and exercising. Yeah, now I want you to exercise on top of everything else. I do. I want you to exercise because if you don't feel good, if you don't watch your health, you won't be able to do any of this. None of this is going to matter. You might as well not even watch the video if you don't care about your health. Invest a little time here. I don't care if you exercise 15, 20 minutes a day. Do something, okay? And then eat. Eat fast. You don't need an hour for lunch. Nobody needs an hour for lunch. Seriously. You don't need an hour for lunch. You say, well, I need downtime. No, you don't. No, you don't. Take your downtime after you've earned a bunch of money and take it on a nice trip with your entire family and really enjoy yourself. You don't need all this downtime. You don't need to catch up on your favorite show. You don't need to binge on Netflix. You don't need this. I mean, every now and then I'll do that stuff, but I usually catch myself. I'm like, what are you doing? Aren't there other things you want? You're going to forget about this show in like 3 days. Why watch this stuff? Okay? So you got eating, you got exercising, and then you've got improving. And what is improving? Improving your life. Doing things that are going to improve your life. You know, if you invested, and I say invest because these are investing things, an hour a day in learning a new skill. Okay, let's say you decided that you wanted to study, I don't know, fitness. Okay, and if you read a book and you spent 1 hour a day reading that book, what would happen in a year? You'd have 365 hours of new knowledge. Or maybe you wanted to learn more about, taking care of pets and you wanted to do courses and help people with their pets, right? Spend a little bit of time each and every day learning about that subject because Those people that know more than you, all they did was learn it from somebody else. They're no different than you. We're all the same. So, for 2019, I've got one last thing I want to add here. There it is. Get started, because we all start, can you see that? With nothing. We all start with nothing. I've sold millions of dollars of products online. I mean, literally millions and millions of dollars. And I started with nothing. I started with a $100 investment that I put on a credit card. Okay, $100 investment on a credit card. That's what I started with. So I don't know what you're starting with. I have no idea. I would like to know in the comments there, that would be really cool. I would like to know what you're going to do in 2019. What are you really going to do? Here's where you could start. Here's what you could do. You could actually put it in the comments and say, I'm going to work on this an hour a day. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I didn't tell you how to do all this. Hang on. To do all this all together with one thing, to have your sales page, okay, not your editing software, not your video equipment. Let me get this right. Here we go. So if you want to have your sales page, your email provider, okay, your membership, your video hosting, your sales funnel, and your up and down sells and bumps, get one thing. Kartra.com. And if somebody would put that in the comments too, that's Kartra.com. It has all of this for about the price of one of these things. I think they start at $89 a month. And you can do your sales pages, you can do your emails, you can do your memberships. It hosts videos and gives you the statistics so you know what people are doing on your videos, okay? And you can build your sales funnel there. It's awesome, okay? I have affiliate link where I'll actually make money if you buy it. I'm not giving it to you. I care so much about this that I'm not going to do that, okay? There you go. Ray put it in there for you. Kartra.com. Get it. Lorenzo, I love it. Lorenzo says his goal is 100 grand a month. Do you think that's too high? I know it's not too high. Why? Because I've done it. I've done $100,000 in one day. We don't do that every day. I wish we did. We don't do that every day. But I've had a day of 100 grand. Do you know what that feels like? Can you imagine? And here's the cool thing. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. It doesn't matter what your education is. It doesn't matter how tall you are, how short you are, how skinny you are, what color you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Only thing that matters right over here, because you started with zero, is you get started. Now here's why you don't get started. I'm going to tell you right now why you don't get started. Are you ready? Let me ask you a question. If somebody came up to another person and they said, ugh, you're skinny, what do you think that person would think? Well, you see, it's not what the person said. It's the person receiving those words where they're coming from. Because if the person they said that to had been skinny their whole life and had been made fun of their whole life, and a grown-up says, oh my God, you're skinny, that's going to really hurt them. It's going to make them really feel bad. But let's flip it for a second. What if the person they said it to had just lost 100 pounds and somebody came up to him and said, you're skinny? It's going to make them feel great. Feels awesome. So here's my point. It doesn't matter what they say to you. It's irrelevant. It's how you take it or ignore it. I mean, that's what I choose to do. 99% of the time, I just ignore it. People don't like me. People do like me. I'm going to hang with the people that do like me, okay? That's your choices, guys. That's what you can do. Ignore all the stuff that's in your head. Ignore those people who are saying you can't do something, because I promise you, 99.9% of the time when somebody tells you you can't do something, it's because they haven't done it, right? If you go up to a doctor and say, I want to be a doctor, they'll go, oh, it's a good profession. You ought to check it out. If you go up to somebody who, I don't know, and I don't want to pick on any occupation, a low-level occupation, and you say, I'm going to be a doctor, like, oh, that's a hard thing to do, man. Doctor's a lot of school, a lot of hours, a lot of work, I don't know about that. Because they haven't done it. Quit talking to people who haven't done things with your ideas of what you're going to do. I'm telling you, you're always going to get a bad result. When you tell your family you're going to make $100,000 a month selling online and nobody online in your family's ever done it, guess what they're going to think? They're going to think you can't do it. That's what they're going to think. Because why? They haven't done it. That's where they're coming from, okay? Look at where people come from. And, the best thing to do It's just, don't even worry about it. Don't worry what your friends and family and all these people say. You know, because you're listening right now, that you can do it. You know that for a fact. Don't miss out on this. You know what? In 10 years, these opportunities may not be here. Right now, I can hold up my phone and I'm going to run this video, and not a lot of people on right now, but more and more and more people will see it, and people buy my books, and that'll turn into more sales and more courses. And you know what this cost me? This is free. Free. You can start a business free online. If you want to know how to find your first product, check out my book. If you guys would type it in there one more time, jrfisherbook.com. You can grab a copy of it. You can find a book within about You can find a book instantly. You can find a product instantly online to sell, and you don't have to invest money in inventory. The book will tell you how to do it, and you can be in business this afternoon. Don't wait. 2019 won't look anything different if you do the same thing as what you did in 2018. Go ahead, my shameless plug here is grab my book, jrfisher.com. That's jrfisherbook.com, jrfisherbook.com. And if all you guys would just type that in there, that would be awesome. I'd really appreciate it. That would really help me out a whole lot. If this video helped you out, put a comment down there, say, hey, I like this. I want more of this. I want less of that. I'm going to start going live a whole lot to help you guys get a business going in 2019. Okay. A whole lot of training. Doesn't cost you a dime to show up. Be nice if you bought my book, but if you don't have to. No big deal. Okay. Show up and learn how to do this stuff. And these videos also, after I do them live, they're going to remain live, on my feed or wherever you find that kind of stuff. So check it out. Somebody type in there, jrfisherbook.com. I really appreciate it, jrfisherbook.com. Lorenzo just did it. I appreciate it, Lorenzo. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you did, hit that share button there. Share it with some of your friends and family. There's other people out there that hate their job too. As a matter of fact, I just listened to a video before I got on here, guys. And here's the statistic in the United States. 74% of the people hate their job. 74% of the people in the United States are going somewhere every day and doing something they don't want to do, and then they're going to die. Why? Why do that to yourself? Seriously, why do that to yourself? There's no risk in starting a business online. I mean, it's like the cheapest thing you can do to start a business right now, and probably the biggest results. If you start a restaurant or you start a furniture company or whatever, you're going to have some big investments. But you can go online and sell products you don't even have to buy to audiences who are waiting to hear from you. It's simple. All right, guys, I really appreciate it. Hey, Tammy, I appreciate it. She just typed in there, jrfisherbook.com. I really appreciate you guys listening, and I appreciate it if you would comment in there, put all your comments in there. I will try to reply to every single one of you when I get off of this. So I'll do that. I'll check that out, okay? And I will talk to you very soon. Thanks.